Today we're going to be talking about when your donkey stops. Well, the first question you might think of, I don't have a donkey, so if I don't have a donkey, my donkey can't stop. Well, yeah, but the good thing is we're not talking about, we are going to talk about a physical donkey, but this donkey, we're going to talk about it in a figuratively way. So, um, just keep that in mind as we go throughout our lesson. Um, this just keep that in mind. Did you know there was a story about a talking donkey in the Bible? Now, do you have a question now? Is, well, did I read that correctly? Did you have a typo? Oh, no, I did not have a typo. And you did not read that wrong. There is a story about a talking donkey in the Bible. And it is very interesting to me because donkeys don't talk around me very much. And I'm guessing they don't talk to you a whole lot either. I mean, they might, I don't know. But they don't talk around me. But, in this story, we're going to be talking about a guy named Balaam, um, who you'll see in the story is going on the wrong path. Um, and eventually in the story, his donkey is going to talk to him and ask him questions. Um, and just talk to him. And we're going to be in Numbers 22 through 31 if you want to go ahead and turn there. Or not, I'm going to have the scripture right here. So you don't have to turn there. Or you can if you want to. And we are going to be talking. And we're going to start in verse 22. But God was incensed that Balaam was going. And the angel of the Lord took his stand on the path to oppose him. Balaam was riding his donkey, and his two servants were with him. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing on the path with a drawn sword in his hand, she turned off the path and went into the field. So Balaam hit her to return her to the path. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow passage between the vineyards, with stone wall on either side. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord and pressed herself against the wall, squeezing Balaam's foot against it, so he hit her once again. The angel of the Lord went ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no room to turn to the left, or to the right or the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she crouched down under Balaam. So he became furious and beat the donkey with his stick. Okay, now this is when it gets cool. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, and she asked Balaam, this is a donkey talk. What have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times? Balaam answered the donkey, you made me look like a fool. If I had a sword in my hand, I'd kill you now. But the donkey said, am I not the donkey you've ridden all your life until today? Have I ever treated you this way before? No, he replied. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the path with the drawn sword in his hand. Balaam knelt and bowed with his face to the ground. Okay, so we're going to start with this. We're going to break down some verses right here, and we are going to start with verse 22. But God was incensed that Balaam was going, and the angel of the Lord took his stand on the path to oppose him. Balaam was riding his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. We see that God sent an angel to oppose Balaam. So Balaam must have been on the wrong path. Because why would God oppose somebody on the right path? Do we ever take the wrong path? I mean, I do. Do you? I mean, God does help us get back on the right path when we take a wrong turn. Because we're going to take a wrong turn. That's kind of inevitable. We're going to take a wrong turn. God helps us get back on the right path, but sometimes we just got to realize that it is not always going to be a way that we would like. And we'll talk about being content later on and knowing that God knows what's going on and we don't have to. Verse 23. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing on the path with a drawn sword in his hand, she turned off the path and went into the field. So Balaam hit her to return her to the path. Balaam has yet to see the problem. He just knows the donkey stopping and nothing's going his way. The donkey tries to avoid the angel. Balaam hit the donkey for the donkey to return to the path. When things were not going Balaam's way, he reacted in a not so good way. He retaliated and got mad and didn't take time to understand what was going on in the situation. Do we ever get frustrated with situations we don't understand? I would say totally. Sometimes we might get more frustrated with the ones that we don't understand than we do with the ones we do understand. We just need to learn to be content and knowing that God knows what's going on. Okay, so we're going to talk about verses 24 through 27 now. Then the angel of the Lord stood in the narrow passage between the vineyards with a stone wall on either side. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord and pressed herself against the wall, squeezing Balaam's foot against it. So he hit her once again. The angel of the Lord went ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no room to turn to the right or the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she crouched under Balaam, so he became furious and beat the donkey with his stick. So things were obviously not going Balaam's way still. He's still mad. The word furious right there is big. He becomes even more mad because the donkey's not staying on the path, and whenever he beat her to get back on beat the donkey to get back on the path, when the donkey got to the angel, he just laid down. And that was kind of the last straw for Balaam. So he retaliated with beating the donkey with a stick. Balaam didn't understand the whole situation. God obviously understood the whole situation. The donkey understood the whole situation. The angel understood the situation. Balaam had not understood the situation. He did not know why the donkey stopped. And that's going to lead us on. And then it happened. So we've already talked about the donkey stopping and all that. So now we're going to talk about, well, the real interesting part. All of it's interesting. But the donkey talking. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth in verses 28 through 30. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, and she asked Balaam, "What have I done to you that you've beaten me these 3 times?" Balaam answered the donkey, "You've made me look like a fool. If I had a sword in my hand, I'd kill you now." But the donkey said, "I am not the donkey. Am I not the donkey you've ridden all your life until today? Have I ever treated you this way before?" "No," he replied. The donkey did not like getting beat for practically no reason, because he was trying to keep Balaam and her safe, but Balaam and herself safe. So the donkey is just trying to keep both of them safe. But Balaam didn't know that. Balaam just got mad at the situation before he tried to figure it out. And did not give time to God to reveal the reason for the donkey stopping. And a lot of times that's us. We jump to conclusions and we don't take time for God to reveal it to us. And that's going to lead us to verse 31. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the path with the drawn sword in his hand. Balaam knelt and bowed with his face. God revealed in verse 31, God revealed the problem to Balaam in verse 31. He figured out that the problem was there's an angel there with a sword. And in verse 32 to 33 it says, the angel of the Lord asked him, the angel of the Lord is asking Balaam, "Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? Look, I came out to oppose you because what you are doing is evil in my sight." And that's another evidence that he was on the wrong path, which that's bigger evidence. But the donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If she had not turned away from me, I would have killed you by now and let her live. So the donkey kept on going just because Balaam kept persisting. Okay, when you keep going. If donkey would have kept going, the story would have ended a little bit different probably. Balaam might have not been there at the end of it. I don't know. But that's the same way with God. If God would rush everything else and um, change everything just because we're uncomfortable or we don't like a situation, we're just frustrated with it because we don't understand the purpose behind it. If God would change it just because of us, your story might turn out different. Our story could turn out different. The story of just humanity could turn out different. And that's important that God knows what's going on, but we do not have to. God even uses a stopping donkey for good. A lot of times we might can't see it, but there is a reason for bad things happening. I mean, does COVID have a reason? I mean, does it really? I mean, if you look at its core, does it have a reason? Yes, I mean, it does. I mean, just like Balaam couldn't see the angel, we might not be able to see it. But trust me, there is a purpose to our donkey stopping. And there's the quote. What could be our donkey? It could be just any frustrating situation that we don't know, or any change in life that you don't like. And it's just frustrating that you don't understand, why did this happen? But we just need to trust that God does know what's going on. When bad things happen, just remember to trust God and that He knows what's going on, and we do. If we don't know what's going on, that is okay. As long as God knows what's going on, we are good. We don't have to worry about anything. God knows what's going on. He's got it. And then we're going to move to Philippians 4:12 through 13. And we're going to read verse 12 and 13. I know both how to have a little, and I know how to have a lot. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of being content, whether well fed or hungry, whether in abundance or in need. I am able to do all things through Him who strengthens me. And Him has an uppercase H, so it's talking about Jesus or Christ. In other translations, I am able to do all things through Christ who gives me strength. You've heard that verse before. And why these verses? Why would I take these verses? Well, and let me tell you. I know both. In verse 12, it says, I know both how to have a little, and I know how to have a lot. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of being content, whether well fed or hungry, whether in abundance or need. Okay, so you know how I emphasize secret of being content. Paul states he has a secret to being content in verse 12. So what is the secret to being content? We just need to be, the secret to being content is obviously God. Is God. Sometimes it might not be as obvious, but it is God. We just need to trust Him and have faith that when our donkey stops, there is a reason. Sometimes the reason isn't obvious. Sometimes the reason might seem to us non-existent, but there is a reason. And in verse 12 or verse 13, we're gonna go to verse 13. In verse 13 was, I can do all things through Him who gives me strength, or I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And verse 13 is one that most of us know. I mean, you probably heard it thousands of times. We also need to have faith that whatever happens, we have the strength in God to overcome it. We have the strength to overcome the stopping donkey. And we don't have to react the way Balaam did. Even though the donkey was stopping, Balaam could have read the situation and give time for God to reveal the obstacle to him and why things were going wrong. We just need to make sure that as long as things are going God's way and not our way, we are okay. Because if we got to choose everything, I know this world is rough the way it is, but it would probably be worse if we were choosing what's going on. And God wasn't. So just keep that in mind. And we're going to end on salvation. If anybody watching this does not know Jesus, the one thing that I beg of you is that you go talk to somebody. That includes me or anybody that is a trusted, mature Christian. Trust me, nobody, including myself, will be ashamed to introduce you to the best friend that you can have in Jesus. He's the best friend that you can have, and it's Jesus. You can trust him when your donkey stops. You know there's a reason, because he's behind it. It's all for your good. And that is going to be all that I have for today. And thank you for watching.